started this gangster shit. This the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello. I started this gangster shit. And this the motherfucking thanks I get. Hello.
Hey, alright, if you're enjoying the content, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button. Join us. Thanks. Alright, hey everyone, it's Comic Artist Pro Secrets, and I am Ethan Van Sciver, 26-year veteran of this wackadoo comic book industry, world's most charming, elegant, eloquent, and yet humble man, great big Star Wars fan. I just want to kind of talk aloud with you guys about a situation that just occurred last night, which initially filled me with glee. It made me gleeful at the expense of these people right here, these two people. Why? Because these two people are gigantic anti-ComicsGate. That's the ComicsGate is the consumer movement within comics that I represent, that I am a part of, and they got their book canceled. They got their nasty, disgusting, despicable, anti-Christian comic book canceled before it even came out. And I was very excited about this. I was jubilant. I would say I was jubilant about it. I thought it was a good thing. But since then, I've had second thoughts. And I want to discuss this with you, and you tell me what you think. Because I'm trying to decide what my own principles are when it comes to fighting SJWs within ComicsGate. Now, I talked to my friend Richard C. Meyer, your boy Zach, over at Comics Matter with your boy Zach and Luna. And he had, he had a definite position about this that I think was, it was principled, it was moral, but it was also kind of about his own experience. Before we go any further, let me just explain what this is here. DC Vertigo is a small kind of imprint within DC Comics that was handed to an editor named Andy Corey, who was a great big SJW. And what he did was he used this opportunity to, as a one-way ratchet, to open up the doors to DC Comics to all of these fringe SJW lunatics on social media. I mean, people like, Zoe Quinn. He hired Zoe Quinn to write a comic book. And Zoe Quinn picked an artist named Robbie Rodriguez, who is so anti-ComicsGate and such a lunatic weirdo that he sent me photographs on Twitter publicly of his anus to tell me he didn't like me. I've never had that happen before, and I hope it never happens again. That's the state of things at DC Comics' new Vertigo line. Because of the people that this editor Andy Corey brought aboard, and certainly he had 7 books. They're all kind of at various stages of garbage fire. Border Town was a comic book that they put out by artist Eric Esquivel, who was accused of rape and some weird underage stuff as well. His accusers came forward. DC quickly fired him and canceled that comic. Hex Wives was a weird comic that was canceled due to low sales. Goddess Mode is the book by Zoe Quinn and Butthole Surfer Robbie Rodriguez. And Safe Sex is a comic about trans workers fighting for safe sex in the future. I don't even know, but it hasn't even been given a release date at this point. It may never come out. It got a couple of decent books, American Carnage, High Level, and then we got this book, Second Coming, okay, that was actually canceled right out of the gate. Now, here's why it's problematic to use a word that I shouldn't be fucking using, but we're going to use it. We're going to use the word problematic. Here's where the principles come in. Now, and this is why your boy Zach takes issue with this situation, because this is just the reverse. This is a mirror situation from his own Jawbreakers experience, where a bunch of people got together and conspired to keep his comic out of the stores. Now, these two people were among those who did that to your boy Zach. This is why he's a hero, okay? He's actually going to stand up for these two gentlemen, Mark Russell and Richard Pace, two of the worst people on Twitter and comics, in my opinion. He's going to actually stand up for them and say, even though you guys supported, you agreed with the idea of stopping my comic book from reaching the shelves of comic book stores, something that you knew I wanted desperately, I'm going to stand up and say that no, a petition started and signed by 250,000 Christians who were offended by this comic is not a reason for you guys to have your book canceled. It's not a good reason. Let me read this article to you really quick so you understand what in God's holy name, and God's name is still holy, and he will not be mocked. He will not be mocked. Not by series writer Mark Russell or kind of mediocre artist Richard Pace. Second Coming, an upcoming Vertigo series by writer Mark Russell and artist Richard Pace, has been canceled by the publisher ahead of its first issue's release date. Not even one issue is going to come out. This series is not coming out, okay? The series, a biblical satire in which God sends Jesus back to earth to learn how to be a better savior. Can you imagine the audacity? Learn how to be a better savior from a superhero named Sunman. Get it? Son of Man? Sunman, the world's greatest superhero, was one of the first books to be announced as part of the relaunch of the Vertigo imprint. This is just money right down the toilet for DC Comics. The first 2 issues had been solicited, with the Second Coming's #1 final order cutoff. That's FOC. That means this is the last date that retailers can put in their orders for copies of this book. This past Monday. So final order cutoff was on Monday, and then March 6th was the scheduled release date. So imagine this: DC gets the final numbers on Second Coming #1. That's it. That's all this book is selling. And then suddenly here we are, and it's Wednesday, and the book is canceled. All right. The series had drawn criticism from conservative groups based on what they cited as a blasphemous premise. It is. It's ridiculous. The idea that Jesus got killed too quickly on earth and failed to meet his destiny, and God was mad at him when he came back to heaven. That's blasphemous, offensive. It's it's not even anybody who knows anything about the New Testament, anything about Jesus. They understand that Jesus Christ was meant to be killed, like he always knew he would be. It's pretty funny. I was off topic, over to the side here. I remember back in the old Image days in the 90s. Oh my gosh, there's an artist named Stephen Platt who did a time traveling book called Prophet, and he hired a good writer to come on board. The book was such a hit because Stephen Platt's artwork was so detailed and people really liked it. Stephen Platt was given because he's so popular, was given the reins to write a Prophet story or co-write a Prophet story or plot it with a good writer. And he pitched it to this writer like, I want to have Prophet go back in time and stop Jesus Christ from being murdered. Stop Jesus Christ from being executed. And it's like long silence, and the writer just goes, you realize that nearly 2,000 years of Christian dogma is based on the fact that Jesus Christ knew he was going to be killed, right? I mean, it's just great. So this is kind of the same situation here. I swear to God, Jesus knew he was going to die. He did just fine. He did everything he meant to do. He served out his purpose, and I'm sure God the Father was proud of Jesus Christ. So this is an odd kind of concept, that you would send Jesus back to earth 2,000 years later to learn how to be a better savior from a Superman stand-in. All right, so Fox News got mad. Everybody got mad about it. The book, there was an online petition, and yeah, it did. It garnered a lot of signatures because Fox News was the propellant behind this kind of moment of outrage. All right, so the book was canceled, and Mark Russell and Richard Pace here released statements saying that DC was very kind to them. Of course, DC's like that, and that they actually gave them the rights to their own book. Like, theoretically, if DC's paying you for the pages that you turn in on a concept, they have some ownership over it. The situation, I believe, at DC is something like, what did they say it was with me? I had a couple of creator-owned things there that were underway. And I think it was like 33, I think it was split into thirds. Like, DC Comics was going to get something, Warner Brothers was going to get a third, and then I was going to get a third of the money that would come in should these books be made into TV or movies or anything like that. I think that was kind of in terms of ownership. So DC Comics doesn't even want ownership over this. Warner Brothers doesn't even want ownership over this property. They were quote unquote kind enough to just say, take it and go publish it somewhere else. We don't want it. Now, here's the thing. Richard C. Meyer is absolutely right when he says that this state of affairs is intolerable. If mob rule can cancel art, we've gotten to a dark place. And even though I disagree with this premise, I find it stupid. And even though I disagree with these two gentlemen and I find them stupid, and even though I disagree with almost everything about what's going on with DC Vertigo right now and find it stupid, I still don't think that these things should be determined by anything except for the free market. Unfortunately, SJWs monkey with the free market. They will, a book like Captain Marvel fails, they relaunch it with a new #1. Gay Iceman fails because of low sales, they relaunch it again as if to say, in your face, we have the power, we're working with other people's money here. Okay, Marvel Comics is bankrolled by Disney. DC Comics is bankrolled by Warner Brothers. We're working with other people's money, and we are basically just, we're not even a smudge in their ledger. So we could actually afford to continue to publish books that are just not selling because of social justice, because of our ideology. These people are not capitalists. They're not capitalists, and that's kind of why my feeling is they shouldn't be treated the way other people are treated. Get SJWs out of comics entirely. They just shouldn't be allowed to have any leadership power. They should be watched over like hawks if they are to work. Like if these guys are going to work in comics, they need to be placed on books that are actually going to sell, and they need to be watched over so that they're not constantly doing what SJWs do, which is insert their stupid politics into absolutely everything that they work on. They're beavers. You can take beavers out of the woods. What do beavers do? They build dams. Put a beaver on the Empire State Building, he's going to try to build a dam up there. And this is what SJWs do. They're going to try to insert, so everything's going to be social justice no matter where you put them. So you have to actually stand over them and make sure that they don't build their dam. Okay? That is the thing. That's the only way that SJWs can be tolerated within comics. Having said all of this, okay? So we've established that I feel that, in general, mob rule should not be able to cancel art. They shouldn't be able to do it to Richard C. Meyer. They shouldn't be able to do it to Mark Russell and Richard Pace. However, one looks at this right here again, this thing that kind of is mentioned but escapes major notice. Final order cutoff this past Monday, March 6th scheduled release date, canceled on Wednesday. Sounds to me like DC Comics probably got, and I'm speculating, but I feel like I've worked there for 20 years and I have the right to do so. I'm gonna go ahead and speculate. DC Comics got the final order numbers on this comic and they were so low. They reached a bottom. I mean, you have to understand, we're talking about Mark Russell, we're talking about Richard Pace, two goons that can't sell a comic to save their lives. The orders were so low that they just decided to use the petition as an excuse to cancel this comic and not have to publish it and not throw even more money down the drain. Why throw good money after bad money? This comic, nobody wanted it. It was a stunt. It was a vanity project by the editor, Andy Corey, who is giving work to his idiotic friends who cannot sell comics. They can't do comics that anybody wants to buy, and obviously they can't sell comics. And at some point, this failed line, I don't know, people at DC should actually look at it and re-examine their priorities. So this is the thing. So this is the result. I know I'm just kind of talking aloud here. I'm thinking aloud. Talking aloud is redundant. I'm thinking aloud about how I feel about this situation, what my principles are. My principles remain thus. SJWs should not work in comics, but if they do, I don't think it's a good idea for mob rule to force them out of their project. I think they should be forced out of the industry, but once they're working on a book, getting their books canceled, etc., not allowing them to express themselves and then let the free market decide is sinful. It's wrong. It's not what we should be. It's not what we should be promoting. However, once again, I kind of go with that premise. I do believe the orders were terribly low, and this was a convenient, easy way, painless way for everyone involved to save face and not have to deal with each other again. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts on this. Am I wrong? Am I right? Where do you stand on all of this this whole situation about, mobs tearing down art versus this comic itself? Also, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Join this little family here that's growing. You don't want to miss a live chat or a live stream, any of this. We want you here. It's important. I know I don't do too many comics-related videos anymore, but every now and then I think, a discussion's warranted. I hope that's okay with you guys. All right, everyone. Have a great Valentine's Day. Bye-bye. Hey, I got a P.O. box. Want to send me some mail? Send it to Ethan Van Sciver, P.O. Box 607, Marlton, New Jersey, 08053. And I'll probably open it up on the live stream. Thanks very much, everyone. Hey, you want to follow me on Twitter? Are you sure? Well, if so, I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. That's at Ethan Van Sciver. See you there. Show your friends you support independent comics while showing the world who you back in the fight against the swarm with the brand new Cyberfrog t-shirt from Crypto Fashion and Comic Artist Pro Secret. Sizes come in small to 5XL, and take your choice of colors between navy blue, white, and black. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and order the Fandom Menace, Go Get Daddy's Belt, Tico, and Soilo t-shirts as well. Link is below in the description. You're going to look great. People love these shirts. They fit wonderfully. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the Laughing Man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.